Yes, welcome everyone here to the Smash Sport Show right here on Smash FM here on a Wednesday here in Melbourne. Of course, let's go into the golf fields of Victoria in particular. And of course, it's been with one of the teams, of course, preparing for the CBL Northwest Conference Finals. And of course, because that is this weekend. Yes, it is in Maryborough this year because they'll be hosting of course, the two-time defending champions, the Bendigo Blazers, in the grand final. Of course, on the weekend, of course, that was after Maryborough defeated Madura at home, of course, on the weekend. And, of course, we got a very special guest on the show because her name is Maddy. She joins us right now. Thanks, Maddy, for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. So tell us a bit about the conference semi-finals against Madura. Tell us a bit about the game.
We got off to a really good start. I think we were only winning the first quarter by 1 and then maybe 3 points up at half time. And we always say that our third quarter's our quarter, the premiership quarter. So we come out firing, I think, and we really pushed them in the third quarter and showed why I guess we're going to the grand final. But it was a really good game. They had some really good shooters on their side from the 3-point range, so it was hard to keep them, but it sort of seemed like in the last quarter, every time we got a run on, they did as well. So it was a really good tight game.
What did the team learn from last year's disappointment in the semi-finals against Kyneton to not do again against Madura this year?
I think from last year, we've really come together as a team this year, and we've sort of played more for each other. At trainings and that, we've always been getting around each other, and we're going out there saying like we're doing this for each other and trying not to have individual performances and that sort of thing, I think. But yeah, really sticking together this year, which I think has worked for us so far.
Obviously now you're into the grand final, and of course this year's grand final is at home at the at the Delhi Stadium there, of course, Matthew Deladragova Stadium. So how's the town been like, knowing that this weekend is their time to shine?
They're a bit disappointed, I think, because the boys lost.
Of course.
The boys were shattered, but they did that to us last year. Like, we hosted it last year as well, and we lost and they won. So, but no, it's been really good. Everyone's super excited. Tickets go on sale soon, I think. So
today
we get hopefully it gets sold out and we get a good crowd there.
About the boys that missed out as well. So I guess it's been the direct swap this year from last year. So I'm assuming you went to the boys' grand final and obviously experienced it from the other side. I guess I'm assuming the boys are going to be doing the same, I'm assuming, on the weekend. Yeah,
they've been really good this year. In the last few years, we've had sort of like a miss between the boys and the girls where we've been not really supporting each other enough. But this year the boys have been really good, coming to watch our games early, and the girls have been staying and watching their games. So we've been a tight-knit group this year. We've been going out for dinners on Thursdays and stuff. So the boys will be there, and I'm sure they'll have their pom-poms and their skirts, and they'll support us like we did them last year.
If that happens, Maddy, please send a photo of that to us. That'll be absolutely great.
I'll get one just for Brady Neal. I'm sure he will be on the sideline in a skirt.
Oh, that would be great if that happens. So, obviously, as I mentioned, you take on the two-time defending champs, Bendigo, in the grand final after obviously they defeated Castlemaine on the weekend up in Castlemaine. How have you fared against them throughout the regular season?
We only played them once this year, which is a bit different to normal. We're used to playing every team twice. And when we played them, they only had 5 players. I think they had the Bendigo tournament, which they probably had a couple coaching and maybe COVID as well. So they started off really well in that game. They only had 5, and I think they were up by like 20 at quarter time. So then they ran out of pass because they only had 5 players, and we did come back. So hopefully we'll just have to stop their shooters and get out to them, I think.
I've got to ask then. So you gave them a head start of 20 points in the first quarter with less players. So I'm assuming you are not going to do that again because obviously they're going to have a couple more players than just 5.
I really hope we don't do that again.
So how much emphasis has that been at training?
Getting out to, I think they just jumped us. We sort of, they rocked up with 5 players, and I think we went out their way too confident, and they jumped us, and that's what Bendigo do. They get a head start and they jump you. So coming out from the start, knowing exactly what we're up against, I think is how we're going to have to play it this week.
So what did you learn from the Madura game to face up against Bendigo?
I think we had a few lapses against Mildura. We let them shoot whatever they wanted. I don't think we were close enough to defending their shots, which they got nearly every shot in. So I think we really need to focus on closing out their shooters and recognising their stronger shooters, which all of them can shoot, but and just getting through our plays as well, I think will be our strong point.
Tell us, how special is this team? And again, especially go that one step further this year compared to last year. Hopefully you can go another step further by the end of this weekend. But how good is it to, and I'm sure this has been surpassed where he's wanted to be compared to last year?
Yeah, absolutely. This team is just full of young girls and youth, and we're all so close. And we've stuck together for the last 3 or 4 years. And having Claire coach us this year, who plays with us, has been phenomenal because she knows, what we need to work on. And it's been so good because we can all have an input. She has let us all have an input and work together as a team. So yeah, this group is super special, and it would be amazing to go all the way with these guys.
And how special will it be? I know we don't look too far ahead, but how good would it be to win a championship in front of your home crowd?
It would be amazing. Yeah, we've had a few wins at home with our crowd, so we know how excited they get. And they were super excited on Saturday night, which was awesome. And, it's always nice to win in front of people that and have that support. And we are such a small country town, and having all the junior kids there and seeing what they can do and hoping that they continue on with Blazers. So that would be good.
Has the team had any words of wisdom from, of course, the local hero, Delhi?
I'm not sure. Brady usually talks to him, but they don't need the words of wisdom, so probably not.
Jeez. Well, I hope you get it in the next couple of days then from him.
I'm sure he'll reach out.
Obviously, this grand final is going to be pretty special, considering it is still technically a bit of a rival, isn't it? The Bendigo Ballarat rival, from obviously when it comes to the winter season eventually. Is that the thing to just go out and beat Bendigo? Like, I know a couple of your players in that Maryborough team play for Ballarat.
Yeah, I think we've always had a long-standing rivalry with Bendigo because you play them in juniors and you go up through all the tournaments and that sort of thing. So when they entered the CBL, I think 3 or 4 years ago, it was like, oh crap, Bendigo again. So yeah, it's a good rivalry.
So let's talk a bit about your basketball journey. Where did it all start and why did you choose it?
I started back in, what do they call it? Aussie hoops or whatever, yeah. Also back then, and I think my mum coached my sister in juniors, so I sort of went up through that, went through the representative teams for Maryborough, went over to Ballarat and played a bit there, and I've been playing CBL Blazers since I was maybe 14 or 15.
So what position do you play on the court, Maddy? And if you had a preferred position or dream position where you like to convince your coaches to put you, where would that be?
I play a big, I don't know if it's a center, I think. I don't actually know. But I have always tried to convince everyone to let me be a point guard.
Oh.
Point guard. I can't dribble and I'm not very quick, but I would love to be a point guard.
Okay. Maybe this interview can hopefully convince your coaches to put you in that one position then.
I've tried.
Oh, right.
They won't let me.
What would be some highlights throughout your basketball journey so far?
I've just loved playing in the CBL for the last 10 or so years, going around travelling Victoria with a few of the Maryborough girls, and I think we have done pretty well, but especially in the last few years, making finals and making the grand final a couple of years ago. But rep basketball is awesome. I love the tournaments, and we finished, I think, second in the state in under 18s maybe like 5 years ago now, and that was pretty special because it was a close group of girls that we went through under 12s up to the top age 18s with. So yeah, that was pretty awesome as well.
What does the sport of basketball mean to you now, especially playing for Maryborough Blazers?
Basketball means fun to me. It's always been my fun sport where you can just run and surprise people with, I'm 6 foot tall and no one expects me to run. So that's fun. But yeah, it's always been such a social sport for me, but I'm really enjoying it this year with the girls that we've got. And
any future ambitions in the sport of basketball, Maddy?
Keep going with CBL, I think. I'm a netballer, probably more at heart, but I do love playing CBL with these girls.
What would be your advice to people in the country that should get involved in basketball, and especially heading up to the net CBL season in October this year?
I think stick with it. I think basketball is a sport that sort of gets run around because it's all season long. So people sort of seem to, they get slammed with it from juniors and they sort of seem to drop out. But I think you need to stick with it because it's just such a fun sport, and it's so social, and it takes you places, not just, career-wise or sport-wise. It takes you literally places around Victoria and Australia that you can travel where you probably wouldn't have otherwise. So stick with it and enjoy playing with friends.
Who had the most embarrassing moment on the court this season, and what was it?
There's been a few Falcons. Millie Cracknell knocked herself out when they went to Mildura. So that was, had to get a concussion test. Keely Hare slid her head open last week, and she was more horrified by what it would look like than the blood pouring out of her head. But the girls are pretty funny. Anything embarrassing, they just laugh it off usually.
How did I know Millie was going to be involved in one of these questions? Who's the comedian, the best singer, the best dancer on the team?
Comedian is probably Millie as well, because she will just stand there and start dancing or something stupid like that on the court. Usually I break out in a dance if we have a bit of a lapse in, if there's holding the ball or something like that and we have to hold the clock. So I'll just break out in a little jig. But singer would have to probably be Casey. At training, she lets a little song out sometimes, but yeah.
Do you have a pre-game superstition or ritual?
Yes, I have to fake tan. and and I have to have smoked salmon and bagels for breakfast before the game.
Okay, that one's not so bad in the fake tan one. Sorry, I'm going to ask this. So, do you get the fake tan on the same day as game day?
Because it's only an hour one and then you wash it off. It works really well.
So I'm assuming you're gonna do it again this weekend. I'm assuming.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Can't break tradition.
Oh, I love it, Maddy. So, is anyone on the team into their TikToks?
Oh yeah, Millie.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Has she gone? Has she gone TikTok famous yet?
Oh, she likes to think she has, but I'm not sure if she actually has. I don't actually have TikTok, so can't tell you how many followers she has. I'm one of those people.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I'm with you. I'm with you on that one. So, has anyone on the team copped any Falcons so far?
Yeah, Millie seems to get a few Falcons. I always get Falcons under the ring because they just smash the backboard and come straight back at my face, and I'm not ready for them. Even though I see them coming, I've got my hands ready, they just go straight through my hands into the face. There's been quite a few Falcons this year, actually.
And for everyone that should come out to Maryborough this weekend to watch the CBL Northwest Conference Grand Final between yourselves and Bendigo, and obviously the men's a bit later on, of course, which unfortunately does involve your Maryborough team. What would be your advice to them to obviously get down and support the Blazers in the first game against the Braves?
I think just come be loud. All we need, we just need a crowd. Especially last week against Mildura, we found that the support and especially from the boys, just the talk and, the pressure on from the boys talking to us was just phenomenal. So we just need that support and everyone be vocal and get around us.
Maddy, thank you so much for getting up your time to join us, especially that's right, especially in the week leading up to the grand final this weekend. I wish I was up there to see us play this week, but obviously I'm down the other side of town to watch their conference grand finals. And look, best of luck. We'll be supporting you, and hopefully maybe this time next week we'll have a chat with you again, and hopefully to talk about a conference championship and knocking over the two-time defending champs.
Yeah, hopefully that would be great. Would love nothing more than that. Thank you for having me.
No worries, and that's Maddy Egan there, joining us from the Maryborough Blazers CBL Women's basketball team. And of course, their grand final, of course, it is at 5:30 p.m. is their time. Of course, will tip off. Of course, they're at the Maryborough Stadium now, of course, or the Matthew Della Dragova Stadium. Of course, it's been recently renamed. Of course, I will put all the details up on how you can get tickets for that game. It's not too late, but of course, you've got to get in fast if you want to get those tickets for the game. There's more on the Smash Sports Show right after this. Don't go away here on the 10th year celebration.